Ben, now that you've had a couple of days after the end of the season, look back, what do you remember from getting to the finals and that experience?
You know, it was a long playoff run. You know, it didn't end the way that we wanted it to, but you know, it's a weird thing, and you know, the coaching staff brought this up to us. Was, you know, it's easier mentally to not even make the playoffs. You know, you can look at that and go, like, you know, it just wasn't meant to be this year, you know, and you can kind of sweep it aside. And then if you lose in the first round, it's, you know, yeah, it sucks, but, you know, we made the playoffs. When you get to the finals, you know, you expect to win, and it makes it that much more difficult to fall short. But that being said, I mean, obviously we had a ton of positives throughout the year and into the playoffs. A lot of guys playing in different roles, a lot of guys playing outside and you know, carving out new roles within the team. You know, you look at Will Acton, who came onto this team as you know, a depth guy, and you know, you don't really know where you're going to fit as a rookie, and especially a guy on an AHL deal. And you know, he played so consistently for us. You know, Dallas had him out in the playoffs in the third round on a 5-on-3, you know, killing. So it's, you know, there's a ton of individual success stories like that, and you know, I think that's the biggest thing you look at. It's you know, hardware would have been nice and a ring and all that, but you look at all the individual players and individuals on this team and the success that they're going to have this summer in contracts and opportunities, and you know, that's the biggest thing for a playoff run like this is everyone getting awarded accordingly afterwards.
You're included in that, and what can this first, you know, long playoff run in the pros in your career allow you to build for the future?
Yeah, I mean, it was a great learning experience. You know, you learn how to force yourself to be ready night in and night out. I thought I was very consistent throughout the playoffs. I thought, you know, I think we played 15 games, and I don't think I ever had a bad game. I maybe had average nights, but, you know, in a 7-game series, you're allowed to lose a game or two. But I felt like, again, I gave the team a chance night in and night out. And conversely, they you know, they stepped up too. You know, we had guys scoring and basically winning games offensively for us too. So in terms of myself, you know, we'll see what happens over this summer. I'm looking forward to kind of taking some time off here and relaxing, and then yeah, we'll see what kind of events will come out of this playoff run, because, you know, I definitely learned a lot, and yeah, it was an exciting thing to be a part of.
What about the year too? I mean, I know it may be similar feelings, but was it a great first pro year considering everything you went through?
Yeah, you know, it was, for myself, I think it was a very, very successful year, and not just statistically. You know, I had good numbers, but we also had a good team, so you can't draw strictly on the statistics there. I thought I learned a lot about being a pro, and I learned a lot about myself and how I need to play and how I need to prepare, how I need to take care of my body and things like that. And the only way you can learn that stuff is by going through it. So that's one of the biggest my biggest accomplishments this year, was having some rough patches and being able to work through them. But again, that being said, that's a big testament to the coaching staff and the organization here, because, you know, I had a rough patch, a couple of them I had a slump, and, you know, the coaching staff and everyone in the organization stuck by me, and rather than, you know, get mad at me and berate me and this and that, you know, they pushed me and they helped me to get through it, and you know, hopefully I pay dividends for them on the other end.
Everybody wants to get to the next level, the NHL. You didn't just play one game. Do you feel that, you know, that's closer now in your career to being an everyday experience?
I'd like to think so, but again, I think if you ask anybody, you can ask every guy coming up here in media day if they're ready for an opportunity, and every guy's going to answer yes. I'm no different. I obviously see the benefits that I had playing this year with the Marlies, but at the same time, everybody wants that opportunity, and I'm no different. So, I think I proved I can play at that level. Obviously, consistency is something you always have to work on, but the only way you can gain consistency in your game is by having opportunities to work at it. So, it was an exciting year for me in terms of being provided that opportunity to play at the NHL level, and I'm looking forward to hopefully having more opportunities in the future.
Were you playing through anything? So many guys are banged up. Was there anything you were struggling with?
No, I'm very fortunate this year. I didn't have any major injuries. I mean, everybody has bruises and this and that, but during the playoff run, I was completely healthy, and I was in a good state mentally, and obviously I think that helped out for my play. I was able to just go out and play my normal game. I didn't have to be wary about aggravating anything, or I could basically just go out there and really buy in for the run that we were gonna have.
I guess, we touched on a few of the things you did about this season, but is there anything in particular that stands out as a highlight?
Obviously playing your first game in the NHL, that was a definite highlight. This playoff run was a big highlight, and especially, I can look back and there's numerous big saves that I made that I'll be able to look back on as not just confidence boosters, but how I made the saves. As a goalie, and especially for young kids out there, I think it's a real epidemic right now where all you see on TSN and SportsCenter are these desperation goalies out of position, and they dive across and dive back and make a glove save, and it's I think I was the same when I was a young kid. Is you see that and you think, oh, that's what a good goalie does, is they make these diving saves, and what they don't show you on the highlights and what you don't always realize is that they've made 60 saves ahead of that, not in that game, but between big saves, they've made 60 routine in good position. Make sure I'm controlling rebounds, being in a good spot, being ready early, and it's that one time where puck takes a bounce off your pad or hits a shin pad, and now you're in desperation mode. But again, I think that the epidemic is, as a young goalie, it's almost you're getting into desperation mode very early, because that's what you've been trained to do by watching all these highlight reels. So getting back to what I was saying with my saves, is I felt like I did a good job of only having to make those desperation saves in desperate situations. I wasn't all over the map. I wasn't diving headfirst all over the place for no reason. When I had to make a big save, I felt I went about it the right way, and that's definitely going to be a highlight for me going into the summer, and then even next year it'll be a highlight I'll be able to look back on.
For the summer, so you're going to take a little bit of time off, but do you have any other plans, a Layers camp in the summer or anything like that?
Yeah, I'm going to be back working with Frankie in Switzerland, and another camp in Edmonton with another goalie guy I used to work with before, when I was in college and stuff too. So basically the same thing I did last summer to get ready for camp, and I think it was a successful camp for me, and I think that I'll continue to do that until I'm not having success with it.
One thing you sort of touched on before when we talked was, you said as the goalie here, your job is to make it difficult for management to make a decision for next season. Do you feel you made it a difficult decision?
Yeah, and I think all I can control is my play on the ice, and again, whatever management decides to do, that's out of my control at this point. My mindset is going to be over this summer. A deal could get done tomorrow. A deal could get done August 15th. It could go late, could be done early. It all kind of, you never know with how these things are going to play out. So, I've played my game on the ice, and I like to think that I made management have to make a difficult decision about me. And we'll see what happens. But I can't say enough good things about this organization. They gave me my first opportunity in the NHL, my first chance to play games. All three sets of coaching staffs. Ron Wilson gave me my first start. Randy Carlisle gave me a string of starts at the end, and obviously Dallas and Gord and Derek here were outstanding for my development. So whatever does happen, I've been extremely fortunate to be provided with this opportunity here in Toronto, and being given this chance to develop my game, because I'm hoping that I can transition that into a longer career, at the back end, having gone through all this at the front end.